Welcome to Fazza Poetry World, where hearts turn into poetry. Stop asking me who I'm really with, stop building stories from shadows, stop turning silence into suspicion, and stop writing endings to a story you were never part of. Listen carefully this time, not to reply, not to judge, but to understand. There is only one. Not two. Not a maybe. Not someone from my past, not someone hiding in my DMs, not someone you think you've seen in a comment. Only one woman has a home inside my heart. And the truth is, she doesn't look like what you expect. She's not loud. She doesn't fight for attention. She doesn't decorate herself for the approval of strangers. She doesn't need to prove her place, because she never lost it. While others speak in noise, she speaks in calm. While others post to be seen, she lives to be real. You see glimpses of my life online, and think you understand everything. But what you see is just a surface reflection of a much deeper ocean. Behind every video, behind every smile, behind every moment you double tap, there's a woman who protects my peace. She doesn't wear my hoodie on camera to claim me. She doesn't stand beside me for validation. She doesn't post stories to remind the world that she exists, because she knows she is not temporary. She is not a moment. She is not content. She is not a trend. She is home. And home doesn't need an audience. You want to know what makes her real? She stays when I'm not easy to love. She stays when my words are quiet, when my mind is heavy, when I'm chasing dreams that don't always make sense. She doesn't question my silence. She understands it. She doesn't demand attention. She gives presence. She doesn't compete. She completes. While others try to be seen, she chooses to see me. And that is rare. People confuse better with louder, prettier, more visible. But they don't understand what better truly means. Better is peace. Better is safety. Better is someone who sees your broken pieces and still decides you are worth holding together. She knew me before the likes, before the views, before the world cared enough to ask questions about my life. When it was just me, my struggles, my late nights, my doubts. She stayed. No cameras. No applause. No recognition. Just love. Pure. Quiet. Unshakable love. And now that the world is watching, they think they deserve answers. They think they deserve access to something sacred. But not everything is meant to be shared. Not everything is meant to be understood by people who only see pieces. You call peace boring, but you've never felt chaos tear you apart until silence became your only cure. You've never been broken Enough to realize that loyalty is more beautiful than attention. You've never stayed awake at night, needing someone, not to entertain you, but to understand you. She is that understanding. She doesn't bring our fights to the internet. She doesn't turn pain into performance. When we struggle, we don't post. We talk privately, honestly, humanly. Because love is not a show. Love is not content. Love is not meant for strangers to judge, or dissect, or turn into gossip. And still, people try. They send her lies. They test her patience. They whisper doubts, hoping she'll break. But she smiles, because she knows me. Not the version you see online, not the version edited for views, but the real one. The tired one. The flawed one. The human one. She once told me, let them talk, they don't know what we know. And she was right. They don't see the late-night conversations, where silence says more than words. They don't see the healing that happens behind closed doors. They don't see the way she holds my world together when everything feels like it's falling apart. So no, I will not show her. Because this love is not for display. It's not a competition. It's not a performance. It's real. And real things don't need validation. I choose her every single day. Not because I have to, but because I want to. There's no second place in my heart. No backup plan. No replacement. Not for beauty. Not for hype. Not for attention. Because none of those things can replace peace. And she is my peace. She is my strength. When I feel weak, she is my calm. When the world gets loud, she is the quiet that makes everything else make sense. So the next time you hear a story, the next time you see a post, the next time someone claims something, remember this: the real one doesn't fight for her place. She owns it. Silently. Confidently. Completely. And no matter how loud the world becomes, she remains the only one. The only queen. The only home. And she is still mine. And if you're still listening, if you're still trying to understand what kind of love survives in silence, then let me take you deeper. Because what I told you before was only the surface, and love like this, it doesn't live on the surface. It lives in the unseen, in the moments no one records, in the pauses between words, in the breaths we take. When everything feels too heavy to explain. You see, people fall in love with attention. But I fell in love with her absence from it. She never needed to be everywhere, to mean everything. While the world chased noise, she built stillness. while others tried to be unforgettable. Through posts and pictures, she became unforgettable. Through presence. Not loud presence, but the kind that sits beside you when your world is falling apart, and says nothing, yet somehow fixes everything. There were nights, long, endless nights, where I questioned myself, my path, my worth, and she didn't come with solutions. She came with patience. She didn't try to fix me. She stayed while I fixed myself. And that is a love most people will never understand. Because people today, they want instant comfort, instant replies, instant reassurance, but she gave me real reassurance. The kind that doesn't come from words, but from consistency. From staying. From choosing me. Even on the days when I wasn't easy to choose. Do you know what it feels like to be loved? When you're not at your best, when you're not shining, not winning, not smiling for the world, but breaking. Quietly she saw that version of me. The version no camera will ever capture. The version that doesn't get likes. The version that feels lost, even in a room full of people. And she didn't walk away. She didn't ask, "Why are you like this?" She didn't turn my pain into a problem. She turned it into something she could hold. Gently. Carefully. Without making me feel weak for needing her. And that's when I knew. This isn't temporary. This isn't attraction. This isn't convenience. This is something deeper. Something rooted. Something real. Because temporary people only stay for your highlights. But real ones, they stay for your darkness. And she stayed. Even when I had nothing to offer but silence. Even when my words were heavy. And my thoughts were louder than my voice. Even when I pushed her away. Without meaning to. She didn't leave. She understood. Not everything needs to be said for it to be understood. And that's what makes her different. She doesn't listen just to reply. She listens to feel. She reads the things I never say. She notices the changes I try to hide. She understands the distance without turning it into doubt. Because her trust is not fragile. It's built on time, on truth, on moments no one else has seen. And that's why no rumor can break it. No message can shake it. No stranger can define it. Because what we have was never built for the world to understand. It was built for us to survive together. And yes, there are people who still try to come back from the past, from memories, from versions of me that no longer exist. They bring old pictures, old conversations, old feelings, hoping they still matter. But they don't understand. You can't compete with someone who never left. You can't replace consistency with history. You can't recreate a bond that was built through patience and pain. And she has both. She has seen my struggles up close. She has watched me grow without asking for credit. She has supported me without needing recognition. She has loved me without conditions. And that's why I protect her. Not because I'm hiding her, but because I value her more than opinions, more than validation, more than the temporary applause of people who won't be there tomorrow. Because love like this, it doesn't need an audience. It needs honesty. It needs loyalty. It needs two people who choose each other, even when it's hard. And we do. Every single day. Even when we argue. Even when we don't agree. Even when things aren't perfect. We don't run. We don't perform. We don't turn love into something the world can consume. We protect it quietly, fiercely, completely. Because in a world full of temporary feelings, we chose something permanent. And maybe you won't understand it. Maybe you'll keep asking questions. Maybe you'll keep creating stories to fill the gaps you were never meant to see. But that's okay. Because the truth doesn't need your belief to exist. And this love, it exists. Strong, silent, unbreakable. So keep watching. Keep wondering. Keep guessing. But just remember one thing. While you're trying to figure it out, I'm living it. With her. Still. Always. Only her. And now, if you've made it this far, then maybe you're not just listening, maybe you're finally understanding. Because love like this, it's not explained in one part, not proven in one moment, not defined by one story. It is lived, again and again, in ways the world will never fully see. So let me take you even deeper. To the part no one talks about. The part where love is tested, not by distance, not by people, but by life itself. Because real love, it doesn't just exist in good moments. It survives the bad ones. There were days when I wasn't the man she deserved. Days when I was distant, lost in my own battles, fighting wars inside my mind that I couldn't even explain. And I know most people would have left. Most people would have said, this is too much. Most people would have chosen peace for themselves over patience for someone else. But she didn't. She didn't walk away when I was hard to understand. She didn't give up when things got complicated. She didn't turn my struggles into a reason to leave. She turned them into a reason to stay stronger. And do you know how rare that is to find someone who doesn't just love your light, but learns how to sit with your darkness without trying to escape it? That's not love you find every day. That's love you protect. That's love you fight for. That's love you don't risk for temporary feelings or passing attention. Because people will come and go. They'll appear when things look good. They'll disappear when things feel heavy. But the real one, she stayed when there was nothing to gain. No spotlight, no attention, no guarantees. Just me and all my imperfections. And she chose that every single time. Even when I didn't understand why she still believed in me. She did. Even when I doubted myself. She didn't doubt us. And slowly, piece by piece, she helped me rebuild the version of me that the world now sees. But the world thinks I built this alone. The world thinks success is a solo journey. They don't see the silent hands that hold you steady when you feel like falling. They don't see the quiet voice that reminds you why you started. They don't see her, but she's there in everything I've become. And that's why I'll never reduce her to a post, never turn her into content, never expose something so pure to a world that only knows how to judge it. Because some things, they're too real to be shared, too deep to be explained, too valuable to be risked. And she is all of that. You might think I'm hiding her, but I'm not. I'm protecting the only thing that never tried to hurt me. The only thing that never tried to replace me. The only person who never needed to compete to prove her place. Because she never doubted it. And neither did I. And yes, there were moments when the world got loud. Rumors spreading, names being mentioned, stories being twisted. Trying to shake something that was never built on their opinions. But you know what stayed us? Not perfect, not flawless, but real. Still choosing each other through the noise. Still holding on when letting go would have been easier. Still believing when doubt tried to creep in. Because real love, it's not about never facing problems. It's about never letting those problems define the ending. And we didn't. We wrote our own story. Not for views, not for validation, not for the world to approve. But for ourselves. And that's why it's still standing. Strong. Unshaken. Unchanged. Even after everything. After the noise, after the questions, after the pressure. It's still her. Only her. No confusion. No second thoughts. No hidden truths. Just one reality. She is my peace. In a world full of chaos. She is my silence. In a world full of noise. She is my strength. In moments when I feel like breaking. And most importantly, she is my choice. Every day. Not once. Not sometimes. Every day. Because love isn't proven by words. It's proven by consistency. By presence. By staying. When leaving would be easier. And she stayed. So I stayed. And I will keep staying. No matter how loud the world becomes. No matter how many stories people try to create. No matter how many times they question something they were never meant to understand. Because at the end of it all, when the noise fades, when the rumors die, when the world moves on to its next story, we will still be here. Quietly. Strongly. Real. And if you still doubt it, then just wait. Because time always reveals what's real. And what was just noise. And when it does, you'll see the truth. Standing exactly where it always was. With her. Still. Always. Forever.